Okay, get me organized. Good morning. I have to make sure I don't knock the computer off of here. That wouldn't be a good idea. So welcome and welcome to the month whose theme is release. I'm really glad I get to start this one off because I was afraid I'd have to talk about enthusiasm and well, that would have been hard because I don't feel enthusiastic lately. So release is a better one for me. So I was pleased that I get release. So I want to introduce first that we're in a very fortuitous week, although it's going to be, maybe in a lot of ways kind of tumultuous and wild. We got an election coming up with lots riding on it, but there is a divine plan for us. And the divine plan for the United States is about equality, spiritual equality, and the oneness model of a higher way of being. We're to be the country that can revel in diversity, making decisions for the highest good of all. But unfortunately, fragmented egos and dark agendas had used suppressed and control, abuse of power. And that's not going to win. Mass consciousness is now being raised. Awareness is shifting. All these conflicts of things in the world that haven't been healed are now being pushed to the surface. A process that many of us, really me a lot, is finding very confusing and disorienting at times. I get overwhelmed in how much is in our face, so to speak. So the alignments this week are just unbelievably amazing towards the good. So I was able to be a participant in the 36th annual conference for Illumination this last October, just a few weeks ago. And they're really speaking more and more about the lineup of assistance that's coming into the planet. And the theme of the whole conference was divine government and a generational changing of the guard by using holy breath. And so we worked on that for 5 days. In October, on the 22nd, Venus, the planet of divine love, which is about harmony and grace and beauty, made its way into Libra. And it's going to sit there for 100 years. And nobody on this planet is alive that experienced this before. Okay, so we've not experienced it, but it's here. And Libra is about divine justice based on a transfer of to mature leaders. And so we're from the harmonic convergence that happened in 1987, we're going into what's being called the harmonic concordance, and that'll hit on election day. Oh, okay, so it's hitting. So we're hitting higher frequencies is what I'm telling you. And that gateway of these frequencies is open until 11/11/22, which is a master number. So, and it's to break down the patterns that no longer serve us. So that is just so perfect with this releasing false beliefs that we're going to be working on all month long. So it's perfect. And so to really take advantages of this week that is just profoundly blessed, even though it might feel very tense and icky, we really have to be able to come back to our breath, to source, to love, to compassion. Because unless we find the capacity to hold all these hurts, we won't transfigure them. We won't move them up in the way we can be here on the planet. So, and she talked a lot during the workshop about the younger generation not having the karmic baggage that us older folks have. And that these younger generations are coming through with energies and wisdoms that are not tied up in inequality. And it's going to be tricky for us because as a nation, we appear really immature, that we believe everything's about us and we can do anything we want on the planet. And so, whoa, do we got a big awakening? Yes, we do. But that the power and the spiritual support is now here as it's never been before. And it's opening up 100-year cycle of liberty and justice based on heart consciousness, based on equality. So it's a very exciting week, although it's very intense. So I want to go back now to the song I sang on purpose, because I want to begin the talk that everybody will be talking about this month, about how we're clinging to boulders. We're clinging to things that we think are making us safe, which is actually impeding our flow just to being of love and more compassion. And so we're going to be talking a lot about how we formed our opinions, how they came down generations. I'm sure there's going to be a myriad of that this month. But so I want to really start looking at how we hold our own personal judgments against us, how we've been trained to do that. So I'm going to read the words of the song again, to let that sink in a little better. So the words of the song is, God is a river. In the ever-shifting water of this river of my life, I was swimming, I was seeking some comfort. I was wrestling waves to find a boulder I could cling to, a stone to hold me fast, where I let the fretful waters of this river around me past. And so I found an anchor, a blessed resting place, a trusty rock that I called my savior, for there I would be safe from the river and its dangers. And I proclaimed my rock was divine, and I prayed to it, protect me. But the rock replied, God is the river, not just the stone. God is a wild and raging rapids and a slow meandering flow. God is a deep and narrow passage and a peaceful sandy shore. God is the river swimmer. Let go, let go. Still, I cling to my rock tightly with conviction in my arms, never looking at the stream to keep my mind from thoughts of harm. But the river kept on coming, it kept on tugging at my legs, till at last my fingers faltered and I was swept away. So I'm going with the flow now. These relentless twists and bend, acclimating to the motion and a sense of being led. And this river's like my body now. It carries me along through the ever-changing scenes and by the rocks that sing this song. God is the river, not just the stone. God is a wild and raging rapids and a deep meandering flow. God is the deep and narrow passage and a peaceful sandy shore. God is the river swimmer, so let go, so let go. The first time I heard that song, I was just so blown away. Peter Mayer was in concert over at the convention center over at St. Pat's, and he's a phenomenal musician. And the way he can use words and lyrics to move. So this is by far one of my favorite songs from him, although he has a lot of them. And so I already warned Roger that I'm going to tell a story on him. Poor Roger. So in keeping with the theme of the river, I'm going to tell you the story about when Roger tried to kill my husband, Mike, in the river. Okay, so here's Roger and Louise, Mike and I, and we're floating the river in Roger's fishing boat there. And we're swimming along, but before we get in, Roger says, now, if anybody falls in, make sure you keep your feet pointed downriver. So I don't know why he said that, but it's stuck in my brain. Okay, so keep your feet pointed downriver. Okay, I remember that. So we get in and we're all snugged in, and my husband Mike's in the back with his life jacket on. And it's late in the season though, and there's some rocks in the river. And I told you he tried to kill him. So he hit a rock, we hit the rock, and Mike, phew. I mean, we're talking, there goes Mike flying. And I'm going, oh, that's my husband. And he's flying up there and he's just, oh. And then of course came through my head. Oh my God, my husband's going to die today. And oh God, oh geez. And okay, so all that flash. Okay, so there's Mike, and the hat flies off and his glasses are missing, but the life jacket's holding him up really good. And he's bouncing. Okay, so Louise and I are the cheerleaders. Come on, Mike, you're doing good. You're doing great. You're doing great. No, feet down the river, Mike. No, keep your feet down the river. Come on, here we go. So, and Mike, Louise and I, of course, are praying. Yeah, we are. God, please get him out of the river. Okay. So, and Roger's trying as fast as he can to get the boat turned around. But for whatever intuition, Roger had the rope and the life preserver right by his feet. He remembered for whatever reason to do that before he started rowing us down the river. And so Roger got us turned around and we threw he threw it and Mike got it. Phew. Okay. And so here we are going down the river trying to get Mike into the boat, right? Okay, but we're still praying and cheerleading, to get him into the boat. So, but it took a while. And when things are tense like that, it seems like forever, ever. And I don't think it was, but it seemed like forever, ever before Roger could get the boat over to the side and we could get Mike pulled in. But by this time, Mike was so tired that we had a tough time getting him in the boat. But we knew he had to get in the boat because we weren't anywhere near the landing yet. So we had to get him in the boat. So we get him in the boat and we're trying to get him warmed up. And then we get to the landing and we had help at the landing. Some young people helped us get the boat up to the cars and stuff. And then, of course, we blast the heat in the car to warm Mikey up. And I'm such a good friend of Roger's, and he felt terrible for Duncan, poor Mike, that I told Roger I didn't think it was nice he tried to kill my husband. That's what I said. Oh, Roger, that wasn't good. No, you shouldn't be doing it, poor Mikey. But anyway, and so there was levity then. There was a way to be humorous about it. But all the way along, we were divinely guided because Roger already put it in my brain that if you're lost in the river, you keep your feet downhill. So Louise and I knew how to yell that and be the cheerleaders. Roger, with his intuition, already grabbed the rope and had it by his feet. And he said later that a lot of times he doesn't remember to do that. And so it was the divine order of things and the teamwork that we got through it. And so when I look back at this memory now, of course, it's still mixed, but it's kind of funny now. And it's kind of, that's the adventure we went on. Kind of like, wow, we're not dead yet. We're still young enough to go have adventure. But it's just really curious. Will I go rafting again? Probably. Probably. And so how do we then get back on the boat? And the reason why I'm bringing this up with the song is that to really be able to release things in our life, we need an anchor. We need some vision pulling us toward a higher way to look at and to be with what's going down. Because if we look at just what's going down in the world, it looks really bleak. There's war and people starving and things are not shifting. But if we look at the bigger perspective, then boy, we're just really through this narrow passage now to come into a much better way of being with each other, a way of being in equality. And so we're really going to be looking at this throughout the month. And I've got to really do true confessions here because I'm really opinionated. And I get really upset when I hear women are being killed because they won't wear a headscarf right in different cultures. And I have this naggy in my head that says in 2022, we're still doing this, really? Women aren't equal, this isn't equal, gays aren't equal, this is, and I get just, if I let me, but if I say, well, these patterns have been on the planet for a couple thousand years now, and it might take a while to shift them, then I do better. Then I see where there is progress. I see where people are talking up and moving more towards equality. And one of the basic principles we use in counseling practice is that you can never ask somebody to give up something in their life, a belief, something they're fixed to, even though we know it may be hurting them, if there's nothing to replace it with. It's not fair. We can't let go of scary things unless there's a way of being with God, with truth, with love, with compassion, that's so solid that then we can let go of these things we're hanging on to that are so tricky for us. I was looking at the concept of judgment with this theme. And I want to start with the Bible, and I want to start with something kind of harsh because this is what we've been through, okay? And I'm going to move it towards where we'd like to be with judgments. And this is from the St. James Bible. How dare you say that your brother... how dare you say to your brother, let me take that splinter out of your eye, when all the time there's a plank in your own? Hypocrite. Take the plank out of your own eye first, and then you will see clearly enough to take the splinter out of your brother's eye. And then it gets a little softer. This is from the New Jerusalem Bible, from Matthew. Do not judge, and you will not be judged, because the judgments you give are the judgments that you will get. The amount that you measure out is the amount you will be given, karma. Why do you observe the splinter in your brother's eye and never notice the plank in your own? And then as it moves forward from the Our Father, it says, and forgive everyone our debts as we've forgiven our debtors. And then from another, and I don't know who wrote it, from another interpretation of the Our Father, it says to untie the tangled threads of destiny that have bound us, as we release others from the entanglement of past mistakes. Isn't that lovelier? From that harsh judgment to, wow, yeah, energetically, we got really tangled up. We got really tangled up. And it's past mistakes. The way they titled the miscreations is the name they used in the conference I was at. How we miscreated, misinterpreted things along the way till they're hurtful. So I love this way of going from a harshness to, no, really the only way that works is if I can have some kindness towards myself. If I can look on what I consider mistakes as, well, yeah, of course I got scared because that's what I believed at the time. And maybe I have a way now of believing differently. that there is a source of all-encompassing love that we're here to demonstrate to be in this world. And we have a profound week, a profound shifting of light coming in this middle of our elections. I think that's pretty wild, the timing of it all. So from Radical Compassion, and that's the book we read in book group, Tara Brach was talking about forgiveness, compassion and open-hearted acceptance. Forgiveness is the process that unfolds over time, both in myself and others. I have noticed that forgiven often becomes possible after we ourselves have been the recipient of another's kindness. And as I reflect on this, it makes sense. And the reason why I confessed my sins about being angry about the political thing that holds people bondage is that I really understand so deeply if I just hate it, then I can't encourage somebody to change. I can't change somebody if I don't love them. It doesn't work. If I'm not compassionate, if I'm not able to then support what's crumbling, then it just doesn't work. And so the deeper part of me knows about love. And I think the last couple of years have been terrible on my nervous system. I've had COVID a couple times and my nervous system's a wreck and whatever. And so if I'm not kind to myself about that, then I get mad at me because my nervous system's having a tough time. Well, I think if we're all honest, most of our nervous systems are a little revved right now, if we're honest. And to find ways and ways of comfort that's compassionate to say, oh yeah, sure enough, here we are. And another thing from Tara Brach's book, and I just love this, forgiveness is giving up all hope of having a different past. Isn't that wild? I'm going to say it again. Forgiveness is giving up all hope of having a different past. So it's only in accepting our past as a country, accepting the inequalities, accepting the injustices, that we can now handle to change it. It doesn't change us if we're not real about it. And so we're being asked now to have more and more bigger containers to handle the chaos that's around us and yet stick to love. That's the only thing that's going to make the difference. That's the only thing. And so it's just lovely that it's all piled up on us this week. So for our meditation, I want to do a meditation from the workshop. And so it's in 4 parts. So there's an in-breath where we take in the light of God, love. There's a hold it for 4 breaths, which means we assimilate it, that we allow the divine love to penetrate through us. The out breath begins with, I expand this love. I want it for everybody. And then we hold the breath out, that I am projecting this for everyone. I want this for everyone. And so go ahead and close your eyes. So we invite the light of God from every celestial opportunity. We ask our guides, guardians, ancestors, angels. Breathing into the count of 4. I am in-breathing the light of God, the love of God. I am assimilating this love. Out breath. I expand this love and I am projecting it to everyone. That's my heart desire. Again, I am inbreathing the light of God from every celestial opportunity. I'm assimilating it. I'm allowing it. Out breath, I am expanding it. I want this for everyone. I am projecting it. Last time, I am inbreathing the light of God from every celestial opportunity. I am allowing it. I'm assimilating it. I'm taking it in. Exhaling, I'm expanding this love, this compassion. I am projecting it to the world, to everyone here. This is what I want. And then just soften your breath and rest. And just envision in your lap any stones, any judgments, any rocks that you might be clinging to. And just really gently tell yourself what they are. And see if you can let them go. See if you can let the river take them today. Understanding maybe this opinion doesn't serve me. Understanding, oh no, I want to be loving. I want to be kind. That's who I am. But gently, without harshness, saying, oh yeah, sure enough, I was holding on to that too. Oh, okay. Maybe I can loosen my grip and let go. Allowing this divine portal of love that we're embarking on fully this week, inviting it. I'm the one with breath this week that's calling in the light to everything that happens this week. I'm the one resting in it. Feeling that we're not alone, we've got each other. Allowing the softness, the love, the compassion to soften our grip, to relax our nervous systems. That we already know, we already understand that peace is just a breath away. Jesus said, my peace I give you, my peace I leave with you. He came for that. The Buddha nature is kindness. The Great Spirit is all nature is alive. We are that. Remembering always to let go, I need to fill first. Fill first, and then let go. And then real gently start making your way back to the room. All right, so let's go for our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And we'll stand and prepare for the peace song. Thanks so much, everybody, for being here. And so this week, if you need some sunny, remember Mike and dump in the river. And then, yeah, things are going to happen this week. We ain't going to stop them. That's true. And maybe there's a way to bring more light, a little more humor, a little more loving. Take extra time with kids this week. Because we're going to be feeling the whatever all, but most important of all, have fun. Thanks.